As somebody who's not a big fan of the holiday season in December, I didn't really know what I was going to do, but you guys seem to like the 13 days of Halloween, so I thought, why not translate that into the holidays? So, welcome to the 12 days of treats. So, my friends and family get to reap the benefit of this all the time, but my love language is feeding people and cooking for them. So, I thought I would share some of my favorite cookies. Now, some of them we're going to be making from scratch, some of them I'm going to show you how to kind of bougify the store bought stuff. But today we're going to start with a classic sugar cookie. It's everyone's favorite at some point in their life, and it's kind of a staple cookie. Also, as we go along, hint, hint, you get to see how versatile this cookie can be. So let's get all the ingredients together and let me show you how to make my version of a classic chewy sugar cookie. Now, for this recipe, you are going to need a hand mixer or a stand mixer just to make it a little bit easier because we're going to be creaming the butter and sugar together to get it super, super smooth and fluffy. If you do not have either of those things, you can use a spoon. It is going to take longer. So keep that in mind. The recipe will get easier, I promise. So I will have the full recipe in the captions down below, but everything we're going to need for this is 1 cup or 2 sticks of unsalted butter, 1¼ cups of white sugar, 1 room temperature egg. It does need to be at room temperature. That is very important for the recipe. Now, this is where my recipe varies from most recipes. You are going to need 1½ teaspoons of vanilla. I do not care what grade you use. Times are tough. People are broke. Use whatever vanilla you have. This is imitation vanilla because that's what I can afford. You are also going to need 1½ teaspoons of almond extract. If you cannot have almond extract for whatever reason, just use 2 teaspoons of the vanilla extract. You are also going to need 2½ cups of all-purpose flour, not self-rising. It needs to be all-purpose. And lastly, you will need 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Table salt, sea salt is what you need to use. Do not use flaky salt, as that will be way too salty. Well, these are all of our ingredients. Let's get over to the mixer. So the first thing we are going to do in our stand mixer is we are going to cream together the sugar and the butter. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to put the sugar and the butter in here with a paddle attachment or a standard paddle attachment for the hand mixer. And you are going to basically just let this mix together until it starts to change color and gets light and fluffy and smooth. That is the consistency you're looking for. You're looking for a paste consistency that is smooth and not gritty. We're looking for the sugar to fully incorporate with the butter. Now, the butter is at room temperature because it mixes a lot easier that way. Now, don't throw these away. You can actually use these to grease your cookie sheet for when you bake them, or if you're baking a cake and need butter, you can use this to grease your cake pan. So always hold on to this. Now, at some point through here, you're going to want to stop and you're going to want to scrape down the sides of your bowl. If you're using a hand mixer, it's a little bit easier because you can move the beater around the sides of the bowl to mix everything. It's not a luxury you have with a stand mixer. So I'm just going to go ahead and scrape this down so that way everything's back in the bottom so it can fully incorporate. We're almost there. All right, now that everything's scraped down, we're going to lock it and turn it back on. So it may be a little hard to tell on camera, but in person, this has now changed colors and it is almost icing consistency. You know, the kind that you buy from the store that you make. I can't make icing, but this is the consistency that you're looking for. It is nice, it is pillowy, it is soft, it has changed colors, and now we're ready for the next step. All right, I've scraped down our bowl once again. Make sure you're continuing to do that so everything mixes evenly. Next, we are going to add our room temperature egg and both of our extracts. This is a trick that I learned whenever I was a short order breakfast cook. You never hit the egg on the side because it can send little tiny shards of shell into the membrane that's in the egg. Always do it on a flat surface. Another important thing, do not overmix the egg into this mixture. Some people want to go ahead and try to get it mixed in really well. You don't want to overmix it. Overmixing the egg at this point can create a tougher cookie. Overmixing the dough, period, past this point can create a tough cookie. So, while you are supposed to be a tough cookie, this is not supposed to be. This is a soft, chewy cookie. This is what you're looking for. The egg is just mixed in. There's still a little bit of the white that hasn't mixed in, and that is fine. It's going to get mixed in these next couple steps. So let's move on to the next step. All right, we are now going to go in with our dry ingredients. I'm going to move this just a little bit just so it's a little easier for me to put my flour in. So we are going to start with the baking soda and the baking powder, and I'm just going to sprinkle those in, and the salt. And then I am actually going to get a spoon and slowly add this in. Why? Because your girl's clumsy sometimes. Keep an eye on it. Let's get the first part mixed in. I still have a little over half the bowl left. So we're going to slowly mix this in, scrape the sides, and then we'll add the rest of our flour. And that's the consistency you're looking for. Because these are soft cookies, this is going to be a softer dough. You can firm it up in the refrigerator, which is what I'm going to do, or you can just do drop cookies, and I'll show you how to do those. Also, make sure you're cleaning up as you go because it does make it a lot easier. This is a message to future Jay, you ADHD gremlin. Clean up as you go. All right, so dough is done. Now, one of two things can take place. You can put this in parchment paper, you can put this in a bowl, and it can go in the fridge. And it's good. You can make this a couple days ahead of time for if you need to make cookies. It's ready. You can actually take this, wrap it up in parchment paper or wax paper, vacuum seal it, put it in a freezer bag. It can go in the freezer for a month, which means as you're watching this right now on the 1st of December, you can go make these cookies, throw them in the freezer, put it in a log shape. Guess what? You've got cut and bake cookies for Christmas. You've got cut and bake cookies for Yule. You've got cut and bake cookies for, I forgot the other 27 holidays that are celebrated this month. Forgive me. But you have break and bake cookies, or cut and bake cookies, or you have cookie dough. Now let me show you how I'm actually going to be doing the cookies. So I had planned on baking an entire tray of cookies for you guys and showing you what they would look like. This is the pan we're going to be using because we're going to be using my trusted toaster oven. Why? I'm currently in the middle of an argument between me and an inanimate object, anemones. Me and the oven aren't getting along right now, so we've had words. It'll be fine. The instructions are going to be the same, regardless if you're using a countertop oven or if your stove actually listens when you press buttons. Lucky. But let me show you how I'm going to make these. So in case you're wondering, this is the second way that you can take care of the cookie dough right now. I have got a bowl and I have got holiday sprinkles. I have also got a cookie scoop. So these I checked at Walmart. They're $1.98 to $2.98 depending on which one you look for. Right now they've got it with a lot of the holiday baking stuff. They usually put out little kiosks and stuff like that. That's where I found them on my local Walmart, but they also had them like back in the cooking utensils section. So I've had this one for quite a while. I actually got this with some silicone mats, so I got kind of lucky. But we're going to use this and the sprinkles, and we are going to make sprinkle jeweled sugar cookies. I don't know what to call these, but I see them a lot during the holidays. So basically, now this thing's not going to work right for me. So what you're going to do is you are going to take your cookie scoop. I highly recommend spraying this bad boy so that way you can continue to scoop cookies. I ran out of cooking spray. So just one scoop of the cookie dough, and we are going to right in the sprinkles. And basically, you're just going to encrust it in sprinkles and put it on the sheet. I got cookie. My house. And I'm going to make up about 6 of these so that way you can kind of see what they look like. Oh, also, while you're doing this and preparing, if you're going to be baking them the same day that you made them, make sure whichever device you're using, you get it to 350 degrees. My toaster oven doesn't take that long to heat up, so I'm going to wait until I'm done with this because I need to show you another trick that you're going to do to make sure these come out perfect and gooey. Also, as far as sprinkles go, you can use whatever kind you want. Do you have the little sugar crystal ones? Use that one. Do you have these big, huge ones like I do, like traditional sprinkles colors or sprinkle sizes? Do that. Do you have the ones that are different sizes and different colors and different shapes? Use those. These are your cookies. Make them look however you want. Do you not want sprinkles on yours? Fine, don't put sprinkles on them. Do you want the sprinkles in them? Dump them in there, mix them in. Do that once it comes off the mixer. Don't do it while it's still in the mixer because it'll break everything up. You want to do that part by hand. If you have a big enough bowl for your sprinkles, you can do 2 of these at a time. I'm just doing one because I'm reusing the sugar, the bowl that I had the sugar in. Now, one thing I will say, make sure any of the sprinkles that fall off, try to get them off of your baking tray. If you're using parchment paper, it's not going to matter. But if you're using a silicone mat or if you're spraying the actual pan itself to put in there, make sure the sprinkles that have fallen off that's kind of like got caught around your hands or something, make sure you take those off the tray. They will melt. And it's hard to clean up. I know, because we test ran this recipe twice. And I forgot to do it both times. Also, if handling raw cookie dough kind of gives you an ick, feel free to put on a pair of gloves. Nobody is going to shame you. It's your kitchen. You do what makes you comfortable. As long as you're not making anyone sick and you're following good food hygiene, do what you need to in your kitchen. All right, last one for now. Okay, you've got your cookies ready. They're encrusted with whatever you decided to put on them, or they're just in balls ready to go into the oven. No, this tray with the cookies is going in your refrigerator for 10 minutes. If you put them in there and then start your oven, most ovens will be up to temperature by the time these are ready to come out. If you miss the mark of 10 minutes by a couple, and I mean less than 5, you're fine. If you miss the mark by 20, 30 hour, sit these out on the counter until this is cold enough that you can tell it's cold, but it's not like freezing cold. You want these to be chilled before they go in the oven. I'm going to stick these in my fridge and I'm going to start my toast oven. Guys, I thought I had everything. I got all the ingredients. I got my wardrobe picked out. Everything. I forgot to get wax paper. So the cookie dough is going in one of my containers that I usually put freshly baked cookies in to take to work. I guess the cookie dough is going in here to chill in the fridge. Yeah, if you're unorganized, I see you. I see you. I am you. I am you. All right, guys, our cookies are out of the oven and they've cooled. I've let them cool for about 5-10 minutes and we have cookies. They look good. I think I may have overbaked them just a little bit. Like I said, watch them. I didn't. You know what? We're gonna blame it on the ADHD. But these are fully encrusted with the sprinkles. They did dip a little bit in the middle. They didn't do that the first 2 times that I made these, so I'm not really sure. It could be because it's raining outside. That can throw things off, but they are still super soft in the middle. Oh yeah. So the outside has got that little bit of crunch. The inside is still nice and soft. I would back up just a minute. I baked them for 12 minutes. Next time I'll do them for 11. But they are so good. They are almost uniform. I'm one, I don't care if my cookies from home look uniform. That's what the bakeries do, and that's what the mass produced ones look like. I want mine to look homemade. Mm. And these are amazing. Like, I'm not even a reach for a sugar cookie kind of person, but these, oh my God, these are good. Mm. And I have so much dough left over. Yeah, I'm gonna obviously make the rest of them, but these are these are good. And I would show you the pan that they came off of. It looks like red and green crayon got scraped across it. It's one of the casualties of baking with sprinkles. If you don't like that, only put sprinkles on one side, leave the bottom side completely naked, I guess. But yeah, these are our sugar cookies. I hope you enjoyed. Wait, didn't I say I was gonna? What if you don't want to do all this mixing? Hey, hold up. If all of that looks really intimidating, don't worry because I have another way to do this much easier, and all you're going to need is break and bake cookies. Let me show you. So I'm wearing gloves because I have on fingernails right now. You don't have to glove up for this. I just do. So you're going to take your sugar cookie dough and just remove it from the package. Now you're going to take 2 of these individual pieces and we are going to make a ball. You want there to be indentions in it. You do not want a completely round ball for this. So we're going to take the flatter sides and those are going to be the ones that are going to sit on the pan. Then we're just going to take the sprinkles and you're going to roll. And that's it. Now you're just going to take your finished sugar cookie dough and you're going to place it on your pan. Do this for as many as you want. Remember, these can go back in a Ziploc bag, so you do not have to make all of them at once. You can make them a little bit at a time. Remember that Reese's peanut butter dough that we got? Let me show you how to make this a little bougier and a little fancier. For these, you're going to need one other ingredient, and that is the Reese's peanut butter chips. Now, these are just peanut butter chips that you can find on the baking aisle of most grocery stores. I already have one that's open, so I'm going to be using the one that's open. We're going to need about a tablespoon or so of the peanut butter chips. And this is what's going to make these really bougie and really amazing. You're going to take one, and you're just going to take your thumb and mush it in the middle to create a little bit of a cavity, like that. So it looks almost like a spoon indent. Then you're going to take your peanut butter chips, and you're going to put them inside. Mush those down just a little bit. Then you're going to take a second one, and you're going to put a little bit of an indent, and you're just going to marry the two together. And then you're just going to form a ball. Try to make sure that none of the chips are poking their way out, and make sure you still have the dimpling on the outside of it. And that's all. So this is the part where I have to tell you to trust the process. So those are in the refrigerator. They're going to chill down for 10 minutes on the pan. And then you are going to set your oven to 400 degrees. I'm fully aware of what the package instructions say. They mean nothing now. They mean nothing. Set your oven to 400 degrees. Your cookies are going to cook from anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes, depending on your oven. Make sure your oven is fully up to temperature before you put them in. But be patient. Wait for it to completely get up to 400 degrees and trust the process. Mine's going to go in the convection oven. I've made cookies like this for a while now, and I know that in a convection oven like I've got, it takes 400 degrees for 12 minutes, and they come out perfect. So let's get that turned on while that chills down, and I'll show you what they look like at the end. All right, these are fresh out of the toaster oven. I'm going to let these cool for just a little bit and then transfer them to a plate and let them continue to cool for a few minutes. All right, guys, and that's it. It's 12 minutes at 400 degrees. Let me show you the peanut butter ones because they're my favorite and they've become a staple in the house. That gooey peanut butter, those chips melt down and it gives you this gooey peanut butter center. These have become a favorite for a reason. And when people look at them, they're like, peanut butter cookies. And then they bite into them and they're like, no, these are better than your grandmother's peanut butter cookies. And nobody has to know that they're not homemade. If you like your cookies a little bit firmer, you can cook them for a little bit longer. I like the soft batch gooey cookies more than I do like the traditional biscuit cookies. So this is how you make those. Now let's go back to the other me to close this whole thing out. All right, guys, so that is our sugar cookies and bonus cookies. I hope you enjoyed. Join us because, believe it or not, I'm doing 12 of these. This is just day one. It's going to get easier and more complicated and easier again. It's going to be something for everybody, I hope. Unless you don't like sweets. And then apparently I'm not going to be for you for the next 12 days. But thank you guys so much for joining in. Thank you for letting me share a little bit of my love language with you. And I hope you try these. In the comments down below, if you try this recipe, let me know how it turned out. Let me know how you like it. How did you decide you were going to zhuzh up your cookies? And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.